All right. Take two. We are live. To me, it looks like the sound is on. To me, it seems like the sound is working. Let's hope this is working here now today. Yes, here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me know that my sound wasn't working and just telling me how much you want to hear it. Now it's working. So, all right, live and learn. Let's do the whole spiel again. A spiel is something that is given or said in a short period of time. So I gave my introduction spiel all about who I am and what I do. So if you are just joining me for the very first time, hey, and welcome. My name's Jennifer Nascimento, and I'm the founder of English Outside the Box. And English Outside the Box is online English education. Online English education that's helping you, an English learner, master your everyday English skills. What are everyday English skills? Those are going to depend. They're going to differ a little bit because each learner has a different goal and each learner is using their English a little differently. So just hopping back into the chat. Okay, everyone can hear me. The sound's okay, great. So everyday English skills are going to help you be more comfortable, more confident, and help you be better in your everyday settings. If you need English for your job, if you need English for school and studying, academically, if you need English just for personal reasons, for travel, for ease, etc. My English lessons help you connect to better English and master these skills. How can you learn with me? How can you learn with English Outside the Box? I have a variety of different ways and resources, free to paid, that you can study with me. So these lessons, every single Saturday, my morning, we have these everyday English lessons teaching you a variety of different skills: vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, TOEFL test prep like today. You can also find me on Instagram where I teach daily tips and daily things. Again, a variety of different things: idioms, expressions, pronunciation, grammar. You can find me all across social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere by searching my name, Jen, Jen, ESL, which is English as a second language, what you are studying, 760. So Jen, ESL 760 to find me and learn with me online. Finally, at EnglishOutsideTheBox.com, there are hundreds and hundreds of free English lessons. These English lessons have a lot of videos, written explanations, exercises, downloadable worksheets, and PDFs. These lessons are created by me with love, passion, and excitement every week to help you connect even more with English. So those are the free ways that you can learn with me. These YouTube videos every week, every single day on Instagram, and weekly on my blog. If you want more advanced training, if you need more focused and specialized professional help, I have a variety of online courses and Skype lessons that also are paid that you can sign up for. So let's get into it, because today is all about the TOEFL, because I've been having a lot of students ask me to provide some more TOEFL training and more TOEFL materials. I had people ask me in the private Facebook group. If you're not in our private Facebook group, come on in and join the community. You can find it, of course, by searching English Outside the Box. And in my weekly email and newsletter, people have also been asking me. So I want to know, if you are watching, tell me in the chat, are you studying for the TOEFL? Have you taken the TOEFL? Do you want or need to take the TOEFL? Or are you thinking, what is the TOEFL? So let me know in the chat what's happening, and know that I do see you I do see you saying hello. I see you saying where you're coming from. Please keep those comments coming. I just can't say hello to every single person who comes in because we want to stay focused with this lesson. Adriana, I did not. English Across the Pond is my podcast, a weekly podcast as well. Our live videos did stop because of connection and sound quality, and we wanted to provide a really solid Friday podcast with really clean and crisp audio. So we have stopped the live lessons. Now we're just recording. So what's the TOEFL? The TOEFL is an English proficiency exam. It's testing your skills as English if it is your foreign language, if it's your second language. So you need to take the TOEFL if you want to move and live abroad. If you want to work in an English-speaking country, you often need the TOEFL. If you want to study at an English-speaking university in the US, Canada, or Australia, you often need the TOEFL. Some universities will have a preference of the TOEFL or the IELTS or the Cambridge, so make sure you do check with your job or university about what is needed for your goals. The TOEFL is really, really common here in the US. So don't be afraid to do the TOEFL, Adriana. Don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. With the tips that I'm sharing today and the live training I'm doing at the end of this month, I know that you can pass a TOEFL. I've had students take the TOEFL and get 27s on speaking and above. So this is really, really great. So let's just get right into it. We're going to talk specifically today about the TOEFL speaking question number 1. If you're not familiar with the speaking section, there are 6 different questions. 2 on a familiar topic, 2 with listening and reading, and 2 with just a listening component. So the first and most important thing that you need to do to prepare and be successful with the TOEFL exam is to be prepared for the questions. Again, we're talking about the speaking question number 1 today, so that's what we're going to focus on today. Be prepared for the structure. Don't be surprised when the exam starts. Don't be waiting to see what's going to be happening during the exam. Be prepared. So let's talk a little bit about the structure. The structure of this question. Question number 1, you're going to see a question on the screen, and the narrator is going to read that question. Then you are going to have 15 seconds to prepare your response for this answer. Only 15 seconds. That's not a lot of time. So you have to make sure you're using that time wisely. When you're done preparing, when the 15 seconds is up, you have 45 seconds to speak, okay? You have 45 seconds to speak and to give your response. So that's the question structure for number 1, 15 seconds to prepare after you see the question and 45 seconds to speak. Understand and be prepared for the topic. Question number 1 and question number 2 are called independent tasks, and these are independent because they're about familiar topics. They're topics that you can answer independently on your own, with your own knowledge, with your own experience, and with your own ideas and thoughts. These are different than the other questions that require reading and listening to take part. So, they are going to be asking you about familiar topics, so be prepared to talk about people, places, things, events, holidays, things in your country that are familiar to you. It's really important for you to try to familiarize yourself with vocabulary relevant to talking about people, places, things, objects, events, etc. So think about things in your country, traditional events or holidays, important people, political figures, etc. A really popular question is thinking about people who are important to you. Family, friends, teachers, and again, famous or political figures. You often are asked about gifts or objects you've received, things that are important to you that you couldn't live without, things that you need or use every day. And for place, you're often asked about places that you like to visit, places you often go, places you go to do XYZ, a place you go to study, a place you go to relax, a place you go on vacation. So be familiar with these types of questions. So Dora's asking a question about other opportunities you have to get in the TOEFL, when you take the TOEFL. Dora, anytime you need to prove your English proficiency, this is where you would need to have this TOEFL or another exam. And then depending on what your goal is and what you're trying to do, someone or some company or job may require it. So that's why you would need to have the TOEFL. Coming back, let's look at some specific types of questions for question number 1. So if you get comfortable talking about a few broad or a few generalized topics related to what we just said, people, places, objects, etc., you can actually apply those answers to a variety of different questions. So don't think that, oh, you have to practice and know and be prepared for 100,000 different questions asking about people, places, and things. That might not necessarily be true. So if you're just starting with a TOEFL, get comfortable talking about a person, a place, and a thing, and see how you can apply that one answer to a variety of different questions. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's look at something a little bit more specific. So let's talk about a familiar person in your life. For example, I want you to think about a teacher. I want you to think about a teacher, I'm just kidding, a teacher that you have had in your life. How would you describe this teacher? How would you describe him or her? Why was this teacher important in your life? Okay? Think about answering this question as you practice after this lesson today, all right? So think about describing that person. When you're comfortable describing the person, who they are, what they do, and why they're important, this one explanation about a teacher can be used for a variety of different questions. So this type of explanation about a teacher can be used to answer a question, describe someone who's influential, choose a teacher you admire and say why. Who in your life has helped you and what have they done? Choose a person who has impacted your life greatly. Who is someone you look up to? Who is the most intelligent person you know? Who's the most thoughtful? Who's the most generous? Who's the most inspiring person you know? These questions that I just gave are really common question number 1s on the TOEFL exam. You could see that all of these questions were asking for something different. Someone who's influential, someone you admire, someone you look up to, someone who's intelligent. Those could easily be 6 different people. However, again, it doesn't need to be. You can familiarize yourself with talking about one person who's really important to you, and you can take that one person and apply them to different types of questions that you may be asked. So I want you to do that as your practice today. I want you to describe a teacher and try to answer the questions that you heard me say by using the same explanation. All right? So you can always talk about other people as well. Other people will work. I'm just trying to give you a tip of using one person and applying it to many different questions. We can give you another example. So let's think about places. Let's think about a place you go often. So again, TOEFL number 1 is going to ask you about places very often. I mentioned different types. So now I want you to think about a place that's really important to you and a place that you go really often. Think about one place that's important and that you go to often. Describe that place. Where is it? Why do you go there? Why do you like it? Get comfortable describing this one place. Familiarize yourself with important vocabulary to describe this place. Familiarize yourself, get comfortable describing this place and saying why it's important. Once you get comfortable talking about this one place, again, we can utilize this one generalized answer and practice applying it to many different questions that could be asked in the TOEFL exam. So again, the point of this exercise is to not think, oh my gosh, I have to learn 20 different people in 20 different places in 20 different things to be prepared. The point of this exercise is to get comfortable talking about one, practicing and learning how you can apply that to many different question types. So you're better prepared for any type of question that you may get. So Eduardo Matias says he often goes to Kenwood Town Center. So Eduardo, then you're going to want to talk about what this place is, why you go there, what it is, etc., etc. And all right. So then once you get comfortable talking about this one place, let's see the different types of questions that we can apply it to. So if you get comfortable talking about one place, you can apply this to a question that says, describe a place you go to often. Describe a place that inspires you. Where's a place you go to study, to relax, or to hang out, and why? Where's somewhere where you'd like to live? This is kind of a stretch, but hey, maybe. Describe a place you'd recommend a friend to visit and why. Where is a place you have fond memories of? And describe a place that you think is fun. All of these question prompts are then going to ask you, give reasons and details to support your answer. So again, once you get comfortable describing that one place, you can apply that to many different question types. So that is being prepared for the question, knowing the structure and knowing the topics. Next, you must be prepared about how to answer this question correctly. So the TOEFL is tricky, of course, because it's testing your ability to speak in this timed amount of time, 45 seconds and 60 seconds. Personally, I don't think that's very natural. There's not very often, there's not situations that we often have to do that. So this is a great way. So it's not really that natural, but still it's important for you to practice it. So in that 45 seconds for question number 1, how do you answer? What is the structure? Do you just start talking and blah, 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 blah? No, I don't recommend that. I highly, highly recommend that in your TOEFL speaking response, you try to structure it like a little mini essay. Okay, you want to have kind of an introduction to the question in your answer. You want to have body paragraphs. You want to have details. You want to have examples. And then you want to have a conclusion. You want to wrap it up. Something really important for this TOEFL speaking is to stay in a organized and developed way. Don't let your answers bounce around back and forth, okay? That's not good. You want to have structure, you want to have organization, and you want it to be well developed from the beginning to the end. That's why you want to structure it like a little mini essay, all right? So let's give a little sample question from a practice TOEFL exam from ETS, from the test takers, and let's see what I mean by creating this type of structured mini essay. So here is your question. Choose a teacher you admire and explain why you admire him or her. Use details to support your answer. Okay, so I want you to think about this answer. Choose a teacher you admire and explain why you admire him or her. Use details to support your answer. You would have 15 seconds only to prepare for this response. So you would need to write down, who that teacher is, why you admire them, and then reasons and examples why. The TOEFL does not have the examiner asking questions in between. The the internet-based TOEFL is all online with a recording giving you questions 1, time, prep, answer time, moving to question 2, prep, answer, question 3, etc., etc. And all of it is done on the recording. Yeah, so we're only answering TOEFL speaking questions number 1 today. So let's give an example of how that mini essay example should be for this question number 1 with the question, choose a teacher you admire and explain why. So your introduction, you'll want to restate that answer. In your introduction, we'll also want to include a mini thesis. That thesis is exactly what you're going to be talking about. A very generalized, short answer with your reasons. So you want to restate the question. A teacher I admire a lot is Professor Markson, who was my environmental science professor in college. I've restated the question, I've answered it saying who it was, and I've given a little bit of a description about him. My thesis is next. I admire and look up to him because he's inspiring and generous. You can see that I've given 2 reasons why I admire this teacher. That was your introduction, restating the question, giving your thesis. Then you're going to move into your body paragraphs, your detail. You want to give more reasons and more details to support reasons 1 and 2. Remember, my reasons for Professor Markson being someone I admire is that he's inspiring and generous. For example, body paragraph or detail number 1. From the day I met Professor Markson, I was inspired by his passion to help others in the environment. You can hear the desire in his voice to make the world a better place, and he really tries to share that passion with his students. He makes me want to make the world better too. So I've given details about why Professor Markson is inspiring to me. How has he inspired me? Why is he inspirational? Moving into the second reason, remember, he's generous. Additionally, he's always been generous with his time and knowledge. Yes, it's his job to teach his students. However, he's always willing to stay after class to answer questions and to provide additional materials if students don't understand. Here again, I've given details and examples about why I think he's generous. As a conclusion, we can wrap it up really quickly. That is why Professor Markson is a teacher that I admire. Notice my use of transitional words, showing that I'm moving from one topic to another. Additionally, he's always been generous. This one quick word, additionally, is a connector showing I've just finished explaining number 1, and I'm giving more information about number 2. Hopefully that was clear about how your response should be a little mini essay for the TOEFL here. Question number 1, of course. So as a recap, just if you're watching and taking notes live right now, you want to answer it like a mini essay. Restate the question and give your answer. Use a thesis statement saying what your 2 reasons are and, be very brief about it. Then go into your body paragraphs, your details, giving more examples and details about those things. I highly recommend keeping it to 2 reasons. Do not go over. All right. Finally, when I talked about having your answer be really organized from the top to the bottom, you want to have it be organized because you don't want to say, oh, this is a wrong answer, okay? This is what not to do right now. Oh, somebody I admire is Professor Markson because he's really inspiring and generous. He's inspiring because he's helping me be a better person, and he's generous because he gives his time. Oh, and one time he helped me with a project, and then I could see his passion, so that really inspired me, but he was also really generous, and so that's why I admire him. What? It's like, it's hard for me, the listener, the examiner, to follow that response if you're here and there and there and there. So you'll want to go from the top, answering the question, and flow in an organized way to the bottom. Hopefully that helped. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the last little tip that you need to improve your answer in the TOEFL. So Eduardo, you're distracting people from the TOEFL exam here. So next thing, you want to be prepared. So you can take notes and you can use notes during the speaking section. So make sure you're utilizing these notes. You already know what question number 1 is going to be asking. You know it's going to be about a familiar place, a familiar topic, some type of familiar topic, and you know you're going to need reasons and examples to support it, okay? Since you already know that it's going to be asking about one familiar topic and then ask for the reading, or I'm sorry, and it's going to ask for the reasons, you don't need to read all of the question during the exam. Every question, number one, is going to ask you to use reasons and details to support your answer. So don't even bother paying attention to that at the end because you know it's going to be there. The second you see the question, skim it for the most important information and have a notes template ready. Okay? Have the notes template ready. So I'm going to share with you what that note template should be. It should be like this. So before you even begin your speaking, you're going to want to have your notes template for every question ready with all of the scratch or pieces of paper you have in front of you to prepare. This bullet point up here is going to be what the question is asking. This is going to be your answer, and these are going to be your 2 reasons, okay? So you want to have your notes and your template for your notes prepared before you answer. So that way, when the question appears on the screen, you skim it for the main details and you immediately start writing. This is going to get you extra preparation time by a few seconds. So again, don't waste your preparation time reading the whole question. You know it's going to ask you for reasons and details, so immediately start writing these details. Using the example from our question today, you would write right here, let me make sure you can see, teacher I admire, Professor Markson, inspiring and generous. So I would have my key details written down on my notes here, and then if I have more preparation time, I would add my details in my notes to be prepared to answer. So make sure you utilize a notes template to get you prepared for the exam and utilize your preparation time to the fullest. Okay, so this is going to be how you can improve your answer for the TOEFL question number 1. You have practice today, okay? So your practice is to think about a teacher, think about a place that is important to you. And you want to try to apply that answer, the answer about the teacher and the answer about the place, to all of the questions that I gave in this video. Remember that this is going to be available, the full English lesson with more details written, with more practice exercises. Everything you need is going to be on my blog this coming week on Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I post this video with more details, explanations, and written practice exercises for you to practice and review. So you can so you can go and read that on Tuesday. If you want more emails and more lessons sent to your inbox, if you want me to send emails directly to you with the lessons, then feel free to sign up for my weekly lessons, and you are going to have access to my resource library. So you can do that by going to my website and you can see where you can sign up. If you want to learn more about English outside the box and you want to learn more about learning with me and you want to read my free lessons, just go to my website, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com. Finally, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing a more elaborate, a more detailed TOEFL training at the end of this month, specifically on April 29th of this month. At the end of this month, I'm going to be teaching you how to improve your speaking score and your writing score. Today, we only talked about speaking in question number 1. On Saturday, April 29th, I'm going to be giving a training helping you with speaking and writing. All 6 questions for the speaking and both the independent and integrated writing for the essay. So you can sign up for that training by going to the link below this video. So in the description of this video, you are going to be able to see the link, okay? And I'm going to share the link in the chat as well, okay? So I'm sharing it in the chat for you. Here we go. All right. And let me just share my screen and I will show you what the website is, and I will show you exactly how to sign up for this TOEFL training. Okay, so you can go to this website here. I will type a short link in the replay of this video. The link is also at the description, in the description of this video, below the video. But you can also go to englishoutsidethebox.leadpages.co/TOEFL training. I know that is a lot. So I recommend clicking the link in the live chat right now or clicking the link in the description. You're going to see this screen, TOEFL training. It's going to improve your speaking and your writing. And this is the time, Saturday, April 29th. I've included Sao Paulo's and Moscow and Riyadh's time. Telling you what you're going to learn. We're going to learn more successful note-taking strategies. We're going to prepare you more effectively for the day. I'm going to tell you how to get a little bit more preparation time. I'm going to show you how to answer each of those speaking questions, and I'm going to tell you how to write better essays for the independent and integrated. 27 days away, so you have a lot of time to sign up and get ready, so you can sign up for that training here. Again, all of the details you need to sign up are in the description, in the caption of this video. I really sincerely hope that you feel a little more prepared today for your TOEFL and for your speaking preparation. Write it down, please. I did write it down. I have shared it in the chat, and I have also included it in the description of this video. So you have two ways that you can access the link now. You can type in the whole link, englishoutsidethebox.leadpages.co/TOEFL training, or you can click the link in the live chat or click the link in the description of this YouTube video. That's a way for you to sign up. Thanks so much for learning with me today. Hopefully you're feeling much more confident with your TOEFL and how to answer speaking number 1. Don't forget, every Saturday, I give these live everyday English lessons. And until next time, happy studying. Bye-bye.